Bloody what's it, guys. Full time, South Africa 42, Scotland 28. This is probably the best game of rugby I've seen since the Six Nations. All of the wonderful club rugby, but nothing has come close to this game. Oh, it was insane. We've got so much to talk about. This game of rugby had it all. I suppose you've all watched it. If you haven't watched it already, please just watch it and then come back to this video. Okay, I had to move out of the sun slightly, but what a game. Congratulations on the Springboks, because, you know, I was right, by the way. So many of you said, hey, you think Scotland's they're going to be close, or they're going to give Springboks a game. There was even a comment saying this guy knows nothing about rugby if he thinks that Scotland will finish within 20. Whoever you are, be very careful. Do not speak too soon. What a game. So basically, spoiler, 42-28. I think I've already said it. I want to praise the Springboks because what they are doing isn't to be considered lightly. They won the game and they had to fight for it. And they won not only this game, but they win game after game. And it's almost like just the fact that Scotland lost by only 14 points and gave them a game almost feels like Scotland won sort of in our hearts, right? It felt surreal really just to see them come back into the game after being 14-0 down. Then it was 28-14. No, it even got worse. It got to 35-14, didn't it? What a game. Scotland creates stuff out of thin air also. That's what really makes it interesting, is that there is a point where you thought that they were dead. Oh, I need to move. I need to keep walking. I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. You know, there was a point where you thought at 35-14 that it was game over. And then, you know, they just quick passes in the out of nowhere really. And they're back into the game. Quite remarkable, to be honest. Let me sit down, guys. Okay, finally decided to sit down. The ref was fine, nothing really to say there. I just thought there were a few inconsistencies on the players in the ruck. You know, sometimes he would penalise the player for not rolling away too quickly. Sometimes he would not penalise them. He didn't penalise Willemse when Willemse was in the way, and he gave a penalty to the box. I thought that was a bit weird because he blew a few where, you know, there was some similar situations. He's a good French ref though. He does quite well in our top 14 and Pro de Deux. Ambrose Papier with the first try. He is such a good player. I always thought when I watched him at the Bulls that he was really good, but then I thought they do have, well, they have de Klerk, Reinach, what's he called, the Lions number 9, you know, the blonde guy, Vandenberg, I think, Vandenberg. They have, who's the guy playing? Grant Williams. Sorry guys, I'm wasting your time. I remember them all. And Papier, scored the first try. He was great. Who else was good for South Africa? Paul de Villiers, he was okay. I quite like him. I like do you say Quan Horn or Guan Horn? Sorry for my Bokke accent. Do I speak good South African? Anyway, guys, who's shined for Scotland? I was impressed with Carl Steyn, although, did you see that when he dropped that ball? Could have been, imagine he catches that, fends off, was it Van der Merwe, and scores between the post and it's 35-all. We're now looking at the contender for probably the game of the season. Crazy stuff, guys, crazy stuff. But huge respect to Scotland. I made a few notes because I've got so much to talk about. Scotland were 14-0 down, under pressure. They managed to retain their composure. They stayed extremely stoic. They continued their game plan, their body language. They stayed strong, right? It looked like nothing happened to them. Whereas any other team that was sort of in the game that would suddenly go 14-0 down and feel the pressure, the hostility of Loftus Versfeld, would have been quite lost, I think. And Scotland did that quite well. They came back into the game at 35-14 when I thought for sure it was dead. I was prepared to talk in this video about, hey, Scotland managed to last 55, 60 minutes as expected. But no, they came back. They were playing free-flowing rugby. Like, yeah. Tuipulotu, let's talk about this guy. Just briefly, what a man, what a gladiator. He lifted the team up. Cummings, Bayliss. I mean, look, the Springboks won. They were the better team on the day, ultimately. But Scotland put in a shift, and I think the most Springbok guys who watch this video would be honourable enough, I'm sure you are, to acknowledge that Scotland did push you to a certain extent. I don't think the Springboks were necessarily worried, because they were never trailing. They were never trailing, and that's very important, because if Scotland were actually winning by 7 points, leading by 7 points, it might have been a different game. We'd have had to see South Africa really try and, you know, innovate and get back into the lead, whereas they had the game in control. It was Scotland doing the hunting. So yeah, praise the Boks. It's not easy to be the Boks, is it? Because you can't take these victories as granted. Everyone wants to beat South Africa. It's kind of the pride. Beating South Africa is you've kind of defeated rugby. I was thinking about the same thing. You might not be interested, but I don't really watch football. But in the Premier League, Tottenham almost went down, and they'd have had a really tough time in the second league of English football because every single team would have seen this big club as sort of their final of this season, right? Going to play them at their home is sort of the match that we want to win, that we want to try and win. It's like our final. So this club, Tottenham, would have had to play sort of loads of finals week after week against teams that are hungry to beat them. This is what South Africa goes through. They are not the underdogs. They are the favourites every time they play a rugby game. And it's quite pressurising, right? I heard a lot of people say that, hey, South Africa prefer being the underdogs, apparently. You guys maybe get better results knowing that people are maybe not betting for you or sort of don't think that you're going to win. I don't know, but you seem to be pulling it off every single time. So underdogs or not, I'm pretty sure you can win any game you want. And I don't think you've been underdogs in a game for quite a while. When was the last time that South Africa were not the favourites? Maybe away to New Zealand in recent rugby championships. Not too sure. Yeah, scrum. Scotland did all right. They cracked open the scrum. They lost the first scrum or two, but then Schumann was penalised a couple of times and he was a bit stunned. And to be honest, I was too. I thought that there were some weird scrum calls, but apart from that, I was telling my brother, you know how South Africa win most of their games. He's called Tim. Tim, why do the Springboks kill their opponents? They destroy them in the scrum. They are excellent in the ruck. They have a very clean line out, and they do the basic things perfectly. That's how you win a rugby game. You can't win a rugby game by playing like Fiji, for example, these days, unless you play like I just described how South Africa play, plus you add some Fijian elements. Then I think you become if you mix the Springboks and Fiji together, yeah, you might just create sort of the best 15 players. Yeah, anyway. South Africa, yellow card. Yeah, that was justified, right? Scotland kept going. Scotland couldn't score though. At 14-all, they should have scored. They should have come back into the game. They should have taken the lead. They couldn't do it. And South Africa just score out of nowhere, and they score back to back, or even back to back to back. Suddenly, 5 minutes later, Scotland, it was 0-0, and then suddenly it was 14-0. It was 14-all, Scotland were on top, and suddenly it was 35-14. That's where the Boks are extremely dangerous. You can't see them coming. Suddenly they just hit you back to back to back, three sort of punches in the face. It's really, really quite tough to deal with. Guys, what a rugby game. Now I want to, I've still got more things to say. Really, I'm impressed by the Scots, as I already said, by how they created opportunities out of thin air. There's no other team, I believe, that does it like Scotland. Scotland have caused huge amounts of trouble to Six Nations teams that they've faced over the last few years, and they've played like that against France. Remember, they did score 50 points against France. They beat England, I want to say comfortably. Did they beat Ireland? No, I don't think they did, but they were good. Now, Scotland are a very feared team. When they decide to play their rugby, they've got a brand of rugby that's kind of undefeated, really. I'm just proud of Scotland, really. I'm proud of South Africa as a neutral, because they saw it off, and you have to win those games. A quality side like the Springboks has to win these games, has to show that they can, even if they are troubled, even if the opponent causes some problems, that they can still see it out, and they did perfectly. But Scotland, I can guarantee you, will go back to who are they playing next? Are they playing Fiji? Wherever Scotland are playing next, congrats to them. They did better than England. They did better than France. They did better than most teams who've played South Africa recently. And they played in Loftus, which is not easy. Although most of the Scottish guys there, some of them had won there with Glasgow in 2024 against the Bulls. I wonder if that's why Ressie played a lot of guys from the Bulls, or does it have nothing to do with that? By the way, Loftus wasn't completely sold out, was it? 45,000. I thought maybe there'd be more. Anyone know why? Is it the ticket prices again? Is Pretoria not very safe? Explain to a foreigner how this works. Like, just tell me why it wasn't completely full. Was Scotland not maybe considered not the best opponent? And yeah, don't call me an idiot for asking these questions. Once again, just educate me, guys. Let's be respectful. Bodies must be tired as I'm speaking, guys. Yeah, what a game. What a game. I think I've cooled down. I think I'm ready to... I've watched 5 games of rugby non-stop today. We love this sport, don't we, guys? Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We're starting to build a really nice community. Thanks to everyone. I'm starting to see the same guys comment. You guys are great. Keep supporting, guys. And yeah, this shirt needs to probably go in the bin now. If you've been watching the channel today, you've seen me probably sweating this shirt 5 different videos now. Bye-bye for now.